Well then, Cincinnati, Cincinnati. They are playing some great football, and they are a serious concern. Cincinnati is coming for the AFC North, and they really aren't playing around. I do not remember the last time Cincinnati actually swept Pittsburgh in a season, but they just did that. And they did it in such a fashion, such an impressive fashion, that it looks like the Steelers had no reason to be on the field with this team. The Cincinnati Bengals were far superior than the Pittsburgh Steelers today. So you had this Bengals team early in the season go into Heinz Field and beat the Steelers by 14. Then they come home to Cincinnati later down the season and destroy the Steelers by 31 points. They dominated and won this game 41-10. My God. Yes, Pittsburgh, we understand. You have all these injuries. Join the club. Then again, we got to speak on this too, because Cincinnati probably should be number one in the AFC North. They should be leading this division. Because if you're looking at it, Cincinnati is easily the most healthy team in the AFC North. Baltimore's team is pretty much in the morgue. Half the guys are gone. Cleveland's also on the decline because they got so many players that are injured. Not to mention Baker Mayfield is literally limping himself onto the field, so they're filled with injuries. Pittsburgh's defense is practically decimated. They're constantly getting players in and out. They've lost guys too. Cincinnati suffered injuries, don't get me wrong, but not to the level of these other three teams. So Cincinnati definitely should be leading this division. And if they keep playing like this, it'll be no question they're going to win the AFC North. They will win the AFC North because they'll face off against Baltimore again, and they'll beat them. And then the next time they take on Cleveland, they'll beat them. If they play like they played today, they're gonna beat they're gonna beat the Browns and the Ravens. So yeah, Cincinnati probably should be leading this division because they're the healthiest team. But you know what? They made a couple mistakes. Those are trying to get back into it. But man, they embarrassed the Steelers today. My God, Joe Mixon had a game on these guys. Over 160 yards rushing on these guys. They couldn't stop Mixon. They just kept giving him the ball, and he kept picking up first downs. They could not stop this guy. Now, Joe Burrow didn't have a spectacular game. He had a pretty good game. In fact, I would say he had a relatively great game. He managed the game the way he needed to. He made some great throws. He had a rushing touchdown, and he had a beautiful touchdown pass to T. Higgins. T. Higgins, who also had over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown catch. He did his thing today. This was really just a dominating performance by the defense for the most part, because defense really helped out the offense today by just putting them in great situations. They completely shut down and stopped the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. We all knew it was going to be bad for the Steelers when Ben threw that first pick. Now, that first situation right there, he was going to Claypool, and it seems like Claypool was kind of just going on some sort of go route or something. He was just going straight down. And Ben threw a back shoulder throw, so he was expecting Claypool to come back, but Claypool kept running, and that's what caused the pick on that first one. But yeah, that pick would definitely helped them out. That pick definitely helped Cincinnati out, and they just went off, and from there, the game was just over. Pittsburgh didn't have a shot. They had one moment where maybe they could have salvaged it. Not really, but it was like, okay, we're down by 17 points. They were down somewhere between 10 and 17 points. And Cincinnati had the ball. They're going down the field. And all of a sudden, Joe Burrow throws it up. And it gets picked off. It gets picked off. And you're thinking, wow, maybe the Steelers, they have some life. And maybe they can turn this around. I guess Steelers fans maybe had that level of hope. Maybe something. Maybe if you get the ball back, you stuff your timeouts. You go down the field. You can score. It's all good. Unfortunately, Ben decided to one-up Joe Burrow and said, anything you can do, I can do better. And he proceeded to throw a pick six. He threw a pick six, and I said the game was over. Second half, who cares what happened in the second half? Nothing happened. The Bengals defense continued to shut down the Pittsburgh offense, and Cincinnati continued to rack up the points with Joe Mixon destroying these guys on the ground, and Joe Burrow making plays here and there, some great throws here and there, continuing to move the chains, put them in great position to score points. That was it. That was it. Pittsburgh got rocked. They got rocked. And now you look at the Steelers, and I'm not even going to lie. I'm not 100% sure they're going to make the playoffs. I'm not 100% sure they're going to make the playoffs. Because I'm looking at the AFC right now. We're getting some teams, man. Cincinnati is going to be at that second place, and I'm not sure. Either Baltimore is going to win the division or they're going to be behind Cincinnati. Though Pittsburgh does have a chance, though, they still have not faced off against Baltimore. They'll have their opportunity. And they've already beaten Cleveland, so if they can beat them again and then take care of business against Baltimore and sweep them, they may take the second spot in the AFC North, which should give them a wild card spot, but I'm not sure. I just feel right now the 1 and the 2 spot could come down between Baltimore and Cincinnati because Cincinnati is not playing around and Baltimore continues to find ways to win. We'll see what they can do tonight against Cleveland. That's going to matter because if they beat Cleveland, they'll continue to keep hold of that number 1 seed in the AFC. Not only that, they'll have the number 1 seed in the AFC North and the number 1 seed in the AFC. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Cincinnati's not playing around this year. And Pittsburgh, with the way I'm looking at all these other AFC teams, the Colts are starting to rise again. The Patriots and the Bills, they're going at it for that division. Same with the Colts and Titans. But, like, I'm seeing that. The Chargers are within it as well as the Chiefs. And there's so many teams right now. I just look at Pittsburgh, and I'm not sure this team will be able to carry Ben Roethlisberger and that offense to the playoffs. I don't think it's going to happen because their defense is not healthy right now. If this defense was healthy, I'd give them a great shot. But with this defense not being healthy and them losing so many pieces, it just feels like this may be a season where they're just going to finish 500. I just don't know. It might be an 8-1 season because they already got the tie. They may actually end up going 8-1. I just don't know about Pittsburgh right now. If their defense was healthy, I'd give them a great shot to make the playoffs because that defense continues to find ways to make plays when they're healthy. But with them not being healthy, I don't trust this offense to keep up with a lot of high-scoring teams. It's not going to happen. They got a great shot to beat Baltimore because Baltimore is also struggling offensively unless they finally put 2 and 2 together and get themselves going. But other than that, I don't know. They can maybe beat Cleveland again. Who knows? But I just don't know about Pittsburgh right now. I would be concerned if I'm a Steelers fan in terms of their team making the playoffs this year. The fact that Cincinnati was able to completely destroy them, it speaks volumes of this team. And they're not going to get healthier anytime soon. Injuries continue to pile up for the Steelers. It's not going well for them. So I just don't know about Pittsburgh, man. I thought that they could make the playoffs because of their defense. But since their defense is not healthy, I do not believe this offense is good enough to help this team get to the postseason. But we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, Pittsburgh, you fall to what? 5-1 now? Things aren't exactly looking good for you guys. It's really not looking good for you. Meanwhile, Cincinnati rises up to, I believe, 7-4 now, because they were 6-4 earlier on. They're 7-4 now, which means they are eerily close to Baltimore, who's 7-3 right now. So if Baltimore doesn't get the job done and go to 8-3, Cincinnati will be going. They will end up first place in the AFC North, which means ultimately they may end up first place in. No. You know what? I'm not even trying to think of the AFC picture right now. It's just crazy. Either way, Baltimore knows they gotta get the job done. Cincinnati is right behind them. If Baltimore does not beat Cleveland tonight, Cincinnati will be first place in the AFC North, no question. So we'll see what happens with that game tonight. But as for this game, Cincinnati clearly made a statement, and they have finally overcome the issue that the Steelers have been holding them on for the last 5-6 years. Actually, even more than that. It's been a long time since I've really seen Cincinnati sweep Pittsburgh. I don't think it's happened in over a decade. It's been a long time. But yeah, congrats to Cincinnati. You guys continue to truck. You continue to move forward. You continue to roll. And you definitely will be a playoff team this year if you continue to play like this. Close out the season the right way and get yourself in the postseason. Maybe you might even win the division with the way you guys are playing. But we'll see what happens with that. As for Pittsburgh, you're going to have to figure something out, man. If this defense can't carry, you guys have no shot to make the postseason. But with that being said, that is all I got. And I'm out of here, man. Peace.